start the game here on Belshire Vestige Ladder Edition. Let's get hyped up, guys.
Belshire Vestige.
Excuse me?
Bell Vestige.
Dude, this is a good map.
I know it is.
Don't dare say that again.
Don't you ever
Now, Bell
say,
Shit Beach, I can understand that. That was terrible.
I just walked away.
All right. So, TVZ here. Tythorr currently unranked this season. Pumblebee in Silver League, but that unranked should not indicate Tythor's skill level because he's pretty decent. We've actually seen a few of his games here in this tournament so far. So, all right. In the bottom right of Belshire Vestige Ladder Edition, we have our Purple Zerg Tythorr, the GLHF there. And not wasting any time getting that Overlord out to scout. And on the top left, the Blue Terran Pumblebee. Anxious fun indeed, he says in the chat. All right. So, this is actually the first time we've seen these two play against each other. We've seen, I think in round 2, we saw both of these guys play, and possibly also in round 1. So, these guys should not be new to you, unless you were just tuning in for the first time. But anyway. So, yeah, we're streaming on a new channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope everybody got the message that we are no longer streaming the Freekz 80 and aren't over on that channel, hoping that I'll be going live soon. But anyway, Pumblebee starting off his wall here. Pretty standard stuff, especially against Zerg. You don't want those pesky Zerglings getting in your base too early. And the scout from Tythorr, at least I'm pretty sure that's a scout, and he's not doing any proxy hatching.
You'll have to tell me if there's some proxy hatching, especially if it's your opponent's natural. That's always the best time to do it.
Definitely. Like, proxy hatch is one of the most fun things to watch here, but sadly, I don't think it's going to happen. He's not banking any minerals. So, he's just doing some scouting. Ooh, oh, and he doesn't get the scout, though. Not that there's much to scout, except for gas, I suppose. Tythorr has been blocked because Pumblebee was smart and built a supply depot and stopped building it a few seconds in so he could work on that barracks and not screw up the timings. And the spawning pool is going to be done in about 20 seconds. And the refinery, or excuse me, the extractor you guys saw just went down there. So, and then there's his expansion. So we're probably going to be seeing some speed here pretty soon. And, Tythorr is also blocking the expansion for Pumblebee, though that Marine's going to take care of that here pretty soon. And does he escape? Yeah, I think he's good. He saves that drone just in time. Sending out his own SCV from Pumblebee. Looks like it's going to go drop an expansion there. Not a bad idea, considering you want to keep up on your expansions when you're playing against a Zerg player as Terran. Though he also has no gas, so that's indicative that we're not going to be seeing any Hellions or... okay, well, he goes and puts the gas down as soon as I say that. That's not... Oh, and he decides to actually put out a second barracks. So we're going to see some delayed factory tech, I'm assuming. No combat shields or stim going to be here anytime soon. But at the same time, we also have speed on the way, as I mentioned earlier, from Tythorr. One thing I do want to see from Tythorr, though, at least against Terran, is some Banelings. We all know how good those are against bio units. Oh, and he's actually going to go for a Roach Warren. That's an interesting choice. I think Roaches in mass number might be pretty effective against Terran, though. At the same time, I feel like once you throw Marauders into the mix, it's just, it becomes something that isn't very effective, and you need to, switch out of that. Though I wonder where he's going to go with this. If he's going Roach Hydra or a big Roach push early on, that remains to be seen. Though Pumblebee placing down a bunker here at his ramp, here right in front of his natural, morphing that into an orbital command, pretty standard. And the second gas here, it's just gone down for Tythorr, so we're probably not going to be seeing anything big just yet. You definitely need the second gas and probably the third and fourth gas here on the natural if he wants to tech into any Mutalisks. We might see that here pretty soon attacking down those extra extractors, but nothing just yet. And Pumblebee also having his second gas there complete. And a third barracks going down, just about finished there. No factory yet. And we also see combat shield on the way. So it looks like he's going to focus on bio at this point. Yeah, he's dropping down an engineering base, but he's going to start his upgrades as well. No factory yet, which is a little bit concerning to me because playing pure bio against Zerg is just so hard, especially when they decide to go banlings. However, we don't see any banlings just yet, so maybe this is going to work out for him. Check the production tab, and we don't actually see any roaches on the way, though that roach warren did finish a little while ago. Only Link so far, and he's just continuing to drone up and build overlords and keep his macro going. Meanwhile, Pumblebee just pumping out those Marines. Stimpack is not done or on the way yet. We have Combat Shield just about finished, so we'll likely see Stimpack just after that. And there goes that factory, nearly halfway done at this point. Like I said earlier, I think he's just going to focus on the bio because he's got the reactors here. I think that gas is probably going to be used for medevacs and probably, or at least when he sees the roaches, some marauders here in a little bit. And also that third base for Tythorr just now being tacked down here. Not a whole lot has happened this game so far. These players are just content to kind of sit back. You see these Marines here at the ZeroLambda get taken out. Now they know that his opponent has some link coverage. Going to sit back and turtle in the base for a little while. So as far as income goes, them mules, man, Pumblebee is quite a bit ahead, 300 minerals per minute ahead of his opponent, and ahead on gas as well because he got those 3 SCVs on that extractor there at the natural. Meanwhile, no extractors from Tythorr on the second or third base. He's just pumping out a bunch of Zerglings at this point and a few roaches on the way with a pneumatized carapace. About halfway done. And it looks like we're going to see a move out here. A bunch of Marines heading out of the map by Pumblebee. And meanwhile, a big Ling run by here. Ooh, oh, he pulls back because he sees these Marines here. They're going to get cleaned up right by these roaches here. And he's going to find out about these Marines here, this ZeroLambda, very soon with this Overlord. And yep, that Overlord's going to get caught. Or the Marines are just going to run by it. Oh, there they go. A little bit too late there, but these Marines are going to get cleaned up very easily by the Speedlings. This is pretty much a failed push by Pumblebee. So that isn't to say he's in a bad position. You know, his push failed. He lost a few Marines. But he's got a bunch of them back home as well. He's definitely content to just go bio at this point, not even throwing any Marauders in, even after seeing those roaches. He does start building mines out of that factory. He built see 1 mine so far. And I don't know if he's going to place down a third base. I mean, he's got a bunker here at the big ramp right below his natural. He's got another bunker there to the right of that. Though that would lead me to believe he's starting to turtle up on 2 bases, but I don't think that's the best decision, especially when you're playing against a Zerg player like this who also is on 3 bases at this point. Though what also concerns me about Tythorr at the moment is that he doesn't have the extra gas, and he's just, you know, he continues to go Lings and Roaches, though he is getting that Hydra Den. He's going to need some extra gas there if he wants to keep up on his upgrades and tech into anything else. If he ever gets to the 4th and 5th base where he needs a Hive Tech. But he's just going to chill in the middle of the map here with these Roaches and Lings. Probably feeling pretty confident knowing that, you know, his opponent is just making Marines at this point, and he pretty much crushed that initial push. Yeah, if I was in his position as well, I'd feel pretty good about that. And yeah, more barracks going down with even more reactors. We're just seeing lots and lots of Lings, Marines at this point. And, you know, as we've said in the past, you know, Marines are good units, of course. And it looks like he's actually going to go for the drop here. He loaded up 1 of the medevacs. He's got 3 others that are empty. Yeah, he's going to go with 1 at this point. That 1 Widow Mine there by the bunker, just kind of chilling there to provide some coverage. And ooh, he wasn't actually on queued up command, so that medevac is just sitting there. And when those Lings might catch it, looks like, ooh, now, do they know? Yes, they do. They know that drop is on the way. And yep, he's going to pull back and start following that medevac, and that's not going to be effective at all for Pumblebee. I think he just really needs to throw some other units into the mix. Just, you know, Mass Marine is good. We all know that, but I just don't think it'll cut it, especially when you're hanging back on 2 bases. And ooh, okay, so Pumblebee does pull that medevac back. That's a good call because his opponent knows that drop is on the way, and it's not going to do him any good at all. So we do see one armor finishing up right now. That'll put Pumblebee's Marines at 1-1. Meanwhile, his opponent is also actually not at 1-1. Just 1-1 is about a little over halfway done, so he'll be at 1-1 before he decides to push. Though, if we look at the army value, it's just so heavily in Tythor's favor at this point. Yep, he is going Roach Hydra with a bunch of Lings. Yeah, Pumblebee is going to try to wall this off here. I think he could just... Okay, that's not those collapsible rocks, so that is a proper wall off there. It's just... I don't know. We're going to see an engagement here pretty soon, but I think this is going to go heavily in Tythor's favor. That was an awesome Widowmine hit, but still just so many speedlings that it's not going to take out all of them. He needs to burrow the other Widowmine he's got here, or else it's not going to do him any good. This wall is going to collapse here pretty easily. And to see how Pumblebee decides to engage this, though, this has got to be pretty stressful no matter what. He can't really get his third at this point. He's going to try. But his attempted wall up there. Oh, the drop here from Pumblebee getting cleaned up. Down there on the bottom left. Not doing much damage at all. Taking out a few drones. Actually, maybe only one. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's just clawing for outs at this point. Trying to get around his opponent and drop where he can. Just to draw his attention to other places so he can solidify this third base. Trying to get that wall off by the rocks once again, but Tythorr is just going to move in just like he did last time. Ooh, it's not even a complete wall off. Oh, no, that's not good. It's just going to sit back and take out those supply depots. And these Marines are doing some good work to the Lings, but when the Roaches and Hydras show up, this might not turn out so well. I don't know. That is a lot of Marines, though, and with medevac support, that could be pretty effective, but oh, man, nah. This looks like they're just melting away to the Hydralisk. That DPS is just too high. And he lifts off the third base, realizing that he's going to lose that here any moment. And it just leaves all these SCVs and mules to get picked off. This is not turning out too well for Pumblebee. His opponent has grabbed that fourth base. Nothing mining there just yet, but he's going to be able to saturate that at any moment. I feel like Tythorr just, he's just going to max up and just do a Doom push, really. We've got a couple Widow Mines here, a bunker, and just a handful of Marines. It's like, he's going to go for another drop. We'll see if he decides to split it up in two different directions or just drop them together. It's like he might be setting them together. But I don't know. Tythorr has been really good with his Overlord coverage, and those medevacs are headed straight for that Overlord, so he is going to see both of those medevacs. Meanwhile, the push here after natural, taking care of that bunker. And, oh, man, I mean, Marines are good, but this is just not enough of them. And they're going to get cleaned up very easily. And then Tythorr is going to push at the natural Pumblebee. Let's see where these medevacs are actually headed, though. I mean, they might go unnoticed due to the distraction here at the natural for Tythorr, though I don't think they're going to be able to do too much damage. They're going to kill that queen there at the fourth base, but this is just such a big problem here at the natural for Pumblebee. Marines just getting cleaned up. SCVs falling left and right. It looks like he decides just to split the army and have half of it take care of that natural and the rest head back home to deal with the drops. They are killing off quite a few drones, but I just don't know if that's enough to actually bring him back in the game now that he's down to one base. That is kind of annoying, though. Let's see how many kills these Marines actually have. 5, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. So they did quite a few worker kills. And they're just going to lift off and take off out of there. But, obviously Tythorr knows that this is happening now. And he's going to be able to take care of that medevac. Ooh, almost got it with those Hydras. Yeah, I think that's going to actually get home, but it doesn't matter. Tythorr has so many units right now. He might have lost a base, might have lost a few workers, but his opponent is on one base right now, and I just don't think he can actually come back. As a Terran player, this hurts. He's just such in a frustrating position right now. And looks like Tythorr is going to rally up all of his units there to the natural of Pumblebee. He's slowly mining away at the remaining minerals that he has. He has to get a base if he even wants a chance at this. Maybe a few planetaries or something. going without the orbital command. I actually decided to go ahead and drop that orbital command at third base, but he's not going to be able to get any SCVs over there with this giant force of roaches and hydras here. Yeah, they're just going to clean up those Marines. And there's the frowny face and the GG well played from Pumblebee. Tythorr is able to pretty strongly take away that first game. He didn't exactly make quick work of his opponent, but he definitely did outplay him. So hopefully we'll see Pumblebee come back. I like, seeing the Terran players win against the Zerg players because I'm a Terran player myself. So, all right. I don't know if it looks like Woodhouse did drop out of the call. So let's see if he's actually made any progress. Dead Frogs, you missed the first game between I don't know how long you were gone for, but not Pixel Knight, he's another Terran player. But Pumblebee did lose to Tythorr, so Tythorr is ahead 1-0 in the series. I'm just going to make sure that Woodhouse is still...
I'm still alive.
You're still alive? You're here?
I'm here, but I'm still re-downloading the game, so...
What's your progress on that?
ETA... Probably 1, maybe 2 more games.
All right. That's fine. We can finish up the series without you. All right, so match 2 between Tythorr and Pumblebee. Just another ZVT, of course. And we will invite Zero into the game here. Now, personally, if I was to recommend anything to Pumblebee, I would say definitely, kind of cut back on the Marines and go a little bit more for mech, because I find mech to be very strong against Zerg in the sense that Hellions and Widow Mines are very good at baneling and Zergling control. Now, I do realize that there were a lot of roaches in that game, and even at that point, tanks and even Marauders can be used very efficiently against roaches. I think, pure Marine is just not going to cut it for you, but we'll see what he decides to do this game. And a little bit of... this always happens, Zero. We get a little bit of a stutter here on game 2. It seems like it's all right for you, but my client is frozen. It usually takes a few seconds and it gets back just fine. Anyway, on the top right here, on Whirlwind Ladder Edition, we have our purple Zerg, Tythorr, taking away that last game for a 1-0 lead over his opponent, and Pumblebee, the red Terran, on the bottom left. Now, let's actually see if I can get into this game properly. Waiting. I'm hearing game noises. Zero, we might have a problem here.
What happened?
This happens every single time, at least once. And actually only once. When we get to game 2, it just stops my replay.
You can hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. We're working just fine. I just don't. It's just.
I'm going to show you the best trick ever. If you hit Control, Delete, and Cancel.
Cancel. Nothing. That just stopped the game sounds, man. Oh wait, no, okay, it worked. It took a few seconds, but we're good. We're ready to go.
Ta-da! Okay.
You're a genius. Anyway, as with game 1, we see Tythorr just getting those overlords out for scouting there. And he will find his opponent here pretty soon with that drone. And at the same time, Pumblebee doing the same wall-off trick that he did before and sending his SCV. Yeah, a little high five there between the SCV and the drone. But yeah, Tythorr can't get in the base, so he cannot scout his opponent's gas timing. And then we also see pretty much identical to what he did last time, the gas in the pool timing. Got that gas down just a little bit before. Actually, no, the pool before the gas. Excuse me. Yeah, checking those timings there, and he will start to get speed pretty quickly. Though notice that Tythorr is able to nail down his opponent's spawn location quite a bit quicker, just due to the fact that he has those mobile scouts right off the bat, the overlords, and then he sends his drone out to one of the spots, and by process of elimination, you can pretty quickly find out where your opponent is, while Pumblebee is still trying to find where his opponent has spawned. And he actually decided to go for a quick expansion this time. No gas, just a 1 barracks expansion. Which, again, I don't think that's a bad call, especially when you're playing against a Zerg player. Like I said before, you want to keep up on your bases. And don't let the Zerg out-macro you too much. Because you're in for a world of hurt at that point. Looks like, yeah, he did scout the gas timing. I don't know if he did catch that the spawning pool is rippling there, so speed is on the way. Anyway, that's pretty standard regardless. He's going to see some speedlings here just like he did last time. However, I would like to see him bunker off the ramp at least, because the few speedlings, or not speedlings yet, but will be speedlings soon, encroaching onto his natural, he's going to be in for some problems. I mean, that's quite a few lings so far, and only 3 Marines, and they're on patrol command. It looks like he's dropping a 2nd barracks, just about done, and a 3rd is going to be on the way here pretty soon. Meanwhile, he does have 2 gas with only 2 workers in each one. That's probably intentional, but I'm interested to see if he actually goes for some Hellions and or Widow Mines earlier on at this point. Doing that little SCV transfer there, though he is going to build a bunker. That's good. Doesn't look like Tythorr is planning on moving these links. Oh, or is he? Yeah, he's moving them now. Is he going to be there in time? Doesn't look like it. He's going to send that initial circling up there to see what's going on. And I think this bunker might be able to finish before these links can actually get up there and do anything. It looks like, oh, speed is done, and they're on the way. No, maybe? Ooh, and the bunker is not done. With that speed, they were able to get up there a lot quicker, and he's going to start taking care of these Marines. Man, this is not good news at all. Yeah. And, yeah, the Lings are going to make quick work of these SCVs. The bunker is finished, but there are no Marines in it, so it's not going to do them any good. All of those SCVs being taken care of. Now the Lings are working on the 2nd orbital command, and more Lings just flooding across the map. This is not good news at all. Bunker's going to fall here shortly. He needs to lift off the natural orbital, or it's going to die. There he goes. All right, just saving it there. It's got about half of its life left, so. But he also has the wall off at the main ramp, which, honestly, I mean, that's going to be able to hold off these links here, especially if he brings SCVs for the repair. So the game is not over. I mean, Tythorr is a base ahead, but if I were Tythorr, I would drop a Baneling Nest. And actually, you know, it looks like that's what he goes ahead and does. He knows that his opponent is on 1 base. He's got a wall. If he makes a few Banelings, he could bust right through that wall and just completely negate the fact that SCVs can repair, and he'll be able to flood in and take care of the workers at the main, and that'll be game. At this point, you know, you see Pumblebee is also making a factory. That could be in order to make a starport so we can get medevacs to go do a drop and distract his opponent, or tanks. I personally would recommend tanks to be able to stabilize a little bit easier, because especially with Banelings, that's just going to be a huge problem for him, and Marines aren't going to cut it. So we'll see how long it takes here. Yep, there goes the starport, and the factory is floating over here. Is it going to do anything funny? It's just kind of chilling there in the air. Oh, so he does go ahead and drop that on the tech lab, so maybe he is making tanks. There it is. There's the tank. And it's just not going to be fast enough, though. That we have so many Banelings in production here for Tythorr right outside Pumblebee's natural. This is not looking good for our Terran buddy. Not at all. See when he decides to push here soon, but if it's not... Oh no. Okay, so the Banelings are there, and here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that Spidey bow is down. But there's still a huge wall here due to the barracks and the factory, so that didn't quite accomplish what he wanted it to. The tank did finish, and he's going to be able to siege up here on the high ground and provide a little bit of support. Yeah. Now Pumblebee realizes that he needs to do some repair here, and he's actually holding on a little bit longer than I expected. If the tank's done, it's going to be able to blow up those Banelings before they get too close. But man, he's just mass-producing links at this point. They're flooding across the map. He's reinforcing wave after wave after wave. And I'd like to see another tank out of Pumblebee here, but I mean, he's definitely frustrated at this point. This is, you know, when you're contained like this, there's no feeling like that. You know, you feel like you have to do something, or you're just going to fall more and more and more behind, and that's never a good feeling, and that's definitely putting Pumblebee under pressure at this point. Third base for Tythorr is going down. You know, when you're ahead, just get more ahead. He's not completely committing to this push, though he was making a lot of lings there for a second there, and he's got 2 Spires on the way. Realizing that his opponent is going to start making tanks here to hold off the Banelings, he's just completely foregoing the Banelings at this point. I'm going to go ahead and make some Mutalisk, and I think that's a good call. You know, his opponent is expecting more Banelings because he really can't scout at this point. I mean, I guess he has scans, which he goes ahead and uses the scans somewhere. I'm not quite catching where that is, though. Oh, he scanned right out in front of his base to see what was out there. All right, so he didn't really get any information as far as what his opponent is up to. And this is probably not the best call. These Marines are going to get taken care of really easily. And the tank will fall here pretty soon as well. Maybe his opponent won't even need the Mutalisk, because he really has next to no units left. He actually got a Banshee out there. Interesting choice. 1 tank on the high ground. The 16-kill tank. But yeah, once these mutas come out, there are 4 in production right now. It's gonna be hell for Pumblebee to be able to hold that off. He's got the engineering base, so he can make turrets, but he has no idea that these mutas are on the way. He's actually gonna go ahead and try and get the 3rd base. He's just trying to sneak that. I'm not really sure if I agree with that, but he's got the mules. He's definitely got the energy for that, so maybe he can just sneak in a few minerals here or there. Meanwhile, Tythorr is just kind of chilling outside the natural once again with some Overseers and the Lings. Not quite enough to finish this off yet, but we will see the mutas here. Yeah, there's a few flying across the map right now. Gonna get ready to flank his opponent. But we just have quite a few Marines now. He's waited long enough that his opponent has been able to produce a few units. Without any medevacs, stimming them to chase the mutas is not going to be that great of an idea. These mutas actually see, yeah, they did see that expansion for Pumblebee. They're not really doing anything about it just yet. So I'm expecting we will see it. Lots of Overlords on the way. Did he research the carapace? I don't know for sure. Ooh, and yep, we see that expansion for Pumblebee just falling under attack right now. All these mules are going to die. And he is floating that over the fan, but with Mutalisk, he decides to use them. Looks like he's going to forget about that and just go right here around to the main and terrorize some of the SCVs here. Man, he's everywhere at this point. He's at the natural. He's at the main with the mutas. The mutas aren't quite doing anything yet, but they're there. It counts. He's going to start plugging away the refinery. That's fine. Doesn't seem that his opponent can really do anything about it yet. He's got a few Marines here at the top of the zone ramp, and they're going to head back there and try to deal with those Mutalisks. And is he going to exploit that and send some Lings up the ramp? I don't know. I mean, there is a tank there. So, man, all of those mutas falling. Man. That could have been handled a little bit more easily by Tythorr, but maybe he just wasn't paying attention to the Mutalisk. And honestly, with 3 bases while your opponent is just really almost mined out in his main, there's not a whole lot you can do as the Terran player. So Tythorr is definitely feeling very comfortable at this point with his map control. But also we see the 3 Banshees heading around here, the right side of the map to the natural of Tythorr. I don't think Tythorr is expecting this at all. This is going to be pretty interesting. And he decides to cloak them. Didn't really need to, considering that Queen could have been made quick work of, but there are mutas there now, so that was a good call. And that's plugging away at these drones and these Lings. But I mean, as soon as his opponent gets the Overseer out there, the mutas are going to be able to take care of that pretty easily. I don't think this is going to be too much of a problem for Tythorr to deal with. Also, grabbing his own 4th base, continuing to macro up and get ahead of his opponent. 8 kills, 9 kills, 10 kills on that Banshee. I mean, they're definitely proving their worth. But yeah, with those Overseers and the mutas, they are going to be taken care of here quite shortly. 12 kills. Yeah, this is the only remaining Banshee that's going to get taken out there. So it was a nice try by Pumblebee, but I don't think it's going to save him. doing a little Maynard here to try to wall off his own natural. This is like 10 minutes ago, happening all over again. I just don't think this is gonna. I mean, this is pretty painful to watch. When you're contained like this, it's just, I don't know. It's really one of those feelings that, you know, you feel like you've got to do something. You've got to. I mean, really anything, because you realize as each second goes by, you're getting more and more behind, and if you don't make a push or some sort of effort, you're inevitably going to lose the game here. However, we do see Tythorr moving here to the bottom of the map with a bunch of mutas and overseers and lings. They might have just been checking that base to see what was going on, make sure his opponent's not sneaking any expansion. The mutas are now on the move, though. We've got a nice little wall off here at the natural, so Pumblebee can finally expand relatively safely, I suppose. If I were him, though, I would drop a few missile turrets and call it good. Yeah, Tythorr just checking the bases around just to make sure there are no expansions. But yeah, man, that is a lot of Marines there. They're only 1-1, so they're not too powerful, but that, you know, in numbers like that, they can make quick work of Mutalisks, so he really needs to be careful with where he places those. Infestation Pit nearly done, as well as Flyer Attack 2 and Armor 2 on the way. So we will see Hive Tech here pretty soon, and I wonder if he will just transition into Ultralisk or something crazy like that. That'd be pretty cool to see, especially, you know, when you've got tanks here and you feel like it's hard to push into the Terran's base with anything short of Ultralisk when they've got the tank coverage there. But honestly, I think even with those tanks there, he could do a pretty big Baneling bust and just sacrifice a bunch of Banelings to get through that wall and then flood with Lings, and he would be just fine. Though the Muta count is growing, and they're just repeatedly flying around the outskirts of Pumblebee's base, denying expansions. You see Pumblebee laugh there after losing expansion. You know, it's good to see that these guys are they're good-hearted, and you know, there's no hard feelings here whenever you're not playing so hot. So I mean, that's the Day 9 community for you. Bunch of nice people having a good time. Tythorr has no idea what his opponent's laughing about. He is so worked up and so concentrated on this game right now. And refinery going down at the natural for Pumblebee, as well as an armory. I'm thinking maybe some Thors are in the works here. But yeah, so Pumblebee's going to go ahead and try to drop, man. With the amount of Mutalisks that Tythorr has, I don't think this is exactly the best decision. But maybe, just maybe, it'll work out here. It doesn't look like it's going to be running into any Overlords or Mutas. So he'll be able to safely drop here at the fourth base for Tythorr. And we also see Swarm hosts that are out here on the field after that infestation pit was completed. Now that could actually cause some problems, because yeah, we do have a lot of Marines and we do have a lot of siege tanks, but you know, when you have a lot of Swarm hosts, that's basically infinite units, so it doesn't matter how many of them you kill, they're going to keep coming, of course. And where did that drop end up? Did it just blow up? Did it get caught by the mutas? I think it might have.
It did.
Anyway, so Pumblebee is heading out towards the middle of the map, trying to take care of these overlords here. Yeah, he's gonna, you know, he's definitely feeling under pressure at this point. He's got to move out. He's got to try to do some damage, or else he's gonna lose this game. And man, that is a lot of Mutalisks incoming towards the natural. Holy crap! But we'll see how Marines in number are just so good at taking care of Mutalisks. And you'll see that right there with so many Mutas dying. Wow, this is a lot of Marines. I think Tythorr just let his opponent sit back for too long at this point. And off of two bases, even with Mass Marine, when you don't have the ground force that we saw him have the last game, Mutas just aren't good enough. Oh man, so many Marines here in the middle of the map, all those Speedlings dying, but oh yeah, when you've got that Ling support, man, I don't know, but this fourth base is going to fall as well. That dual prong attack was a great play by Pumblebee, taking care of that fourth, killing so many workers. And with no Lings, these Mutas are just going to get annihilated. And we will see that happen here shortly. Oh, no, he picks him up. Is he going to catch it? Oh, that could have gone over very horribly. He's going to drop them down again. Yeah. Even with, half the numbers of Marines that he had before, those mutas are dying so quickly, and they're 2-2 mutas. Marine's good unit. When you don't have to link to back up the mutas and soak up those shots, they just fall so easily. But it turns out that while we did see Pumblebee take care of a lot of those mutas, there are a few left that we're able to clean up the Marines. And we're going to see another push here from Tythorr. So many Overseers. That was a lot of Overseers. Look at this drop here in the main base. Pumblebee dropping all over the place with Marines. Taking out the Spore Crawler. And probably going to make short work of these drones and start working on the tech, though. We do see the Locust here at the second base for Pumblebee starting to do a siege his opponent's base. And I have a feeling the end is going to, I don't know, it's probably going to be here pretty soon, especially with no detection from Pumblebee. These Locusts are going to come again and again and again. And the Broodlings might even take care of these Marines here. A few of them are falling, though. Ooh, a bunch of Zerglings just spawned. Oh, okay, and the mutas are going to head over here to the main and take care of this drop from Pumblebee. Pumblebee is doing a lot to try to stay in this game. He's dropping all over the place. He pushed out through the middle of the map, with a bunch of Marines, and that was a strong push. He was able to get enough Marines to do some damage, but, it just wasn't enough to completely pull all of his units off. And, running all of those Marines out there to try to take care of these swarm hosts. Oh, even with that scan, though, when you A-cook them like that, they automatically start shooting the Locusts, and you have to target the swarm hosts, and it doesn't look like we've got any of them. And all of those Marines dying. Mutas are showing up to take care of the rest of it. This is just not looking good for Pumblebee at all, and I feel like this game is going to be over here. Yep, there's the GG, well played from Pumblebee. So Tythorr does take this series up to a 2-0. Man, we see that Pumblebee is very confident in his Marine play. But as I said last time, I'd like to see him do a mech opener. Keep him protected from that early harass a little bit easier, especially if you have Hellions, so you can get that map control before those speedlings get out in too high of a number. All right. Oh, hey, Pixel Knight's here. What's going on, man? Nice to see you join us. You're such a troll, Ken. I see you trolling the chat there.
I would never do such a thing. I would never do such a thing. But yeah, my game's at about 50%, so
50%, son.
I know, I'm sorry. My connection is not so hot.
I thought you got away from CenturyLink.
I did.
I'm just giving you shit.
I did. Last time I thought I did, anyway.
Nice. See, I wish I could keep up with the chat a little bit better, but I don't have my second monitor set up right now, so I can't really see what's going on without alt-tabbing.
Yeah.
So Zero, you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. No problems
All right.
here.
Just want to make sure nobody needs a break. I
the
might.
the second you said that you could hear game sounds but you couldn't see anything, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same issue there for a while. I don't know. It's a graphics driver thing.
Yeah, I'm glad it doesn't take long to fix like that. But yeah, I mean, every time we've streamed, I've
Done
run
that
into
every
that
time.
issue.
That's really weird.
Yeah, I'd alt-tab and come back and wait a few seconds, and it would eventually clear up itself. But anyway, I'm gonna go refill my orange juice. I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Okay, sounds good. So what's up, Woodhouse?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just waiting for this to finish downloading.
Did you try repairing it before you decided to scrap the whole thing?
Yes, I did, actually.
It didn't do anything, huh?
No, not really.
That's really weird.
Oh man. Ugh.
And then when I checked the Blizzard tech forums, they suggested to just reinstall it
Oh,
if the repair didn't work, so...
I hate that.
What do you hate?
Oh, the first thing from tech support is, did you try uninstalling and reinstalling it again? It's like,
course.
no, I don't want to download 20 gigs again.
All right, so who's ready for Game 3 of this exciting matchup?
Me? I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm good for it. Wait, so game 3?
Yeah.
Did Pumblebee kill Tythorr once?
These are best of fives, man.
Oh man, these are best of fives. Oh.
They're best of fives.
Aha.
Not like the show matches, which are best of three.
Yeah,
We're,
best of 3. Okay.
we are on best of 3. Well, actually, best of 5.
Are you sure?
Whatever. Okay, we're going on to match 3. That's all I know. Okay, between Tythorr and Pumblebee. On Polar Night Ladder Edition, this is like my favorite map of the current pool. I don't know. What do you think? You like this map, Zero?
Polar Knight's pretty good. I like how the spawns are kind of center top and center bottom rather than, your typical corner spawns. It kind of adds some sort of dynamic feel to it. It's not really like all the others.
Yeah, I enjoy that. That's a pretty cool aspect of this, the straight up top down. But I also, as I've said before, I think I really enjoy that placement of the ice near the left of the bottom the bottom spawn, and then at the top spawn it's over to the right of it.
Right, you have the back base with the destructible ice. That's good for Zerg.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
it's good for Zerg to sneak in an extra base in there under the Terran's nose, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, this is match 3 between Pumblebee and Tythorr, and we have our purple Zerg, Tythorr, defeating Pumblebee in game 2. Now has a 2-0 lead over his opponent, and if Pumblebee is able to come back, and this will be a hell of a series, but if he doesn't, if he fails this game, Tythorr has claimed victory over his opponent. But anyway, on the top of Polar Knight, our blue Terran, Pumblebee, under a lot of pressure right now. He has got to win this game. And I'm telling you, I want to see some mech. We have seen Bio game 1. We saw Bio game 2. I want to see some mech. I want to see a Hellion opener. I want to see, even if he decides to go Bio again. Oh, we're looking at some crazy APM right now. Sorry, I'm selected on something else. So I'm not seeing APM tab right now. Let's check the APM tab. 320 average APM from Tythorr. The only Korean Zerg player in the Day-Night community. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Even if he decides to make more bears, I want to see like something else, like a Reaper opener. Even Reapers are a lot of fun against Zerg. They've got the mobility of the Hellions, especially when your opponent doesn't have speedlings out just yet. You can kind of exploit that fact and do a lot of fun, annoying things. Hellions are pretty fun, of course, because you can get that map controlled a little bit earlier. And Widow Mines, I like Widow Mines just because, you can't exactly get map control with them, but you can defend yourself from those big speedling pushes that we were seeing from Tythorr. Because a good Widow Mine connection can take out like 15 lings, and, that could really save your ass there. But anyway, we do see Tythorr doing kind of the same thing. His extractor is finished up. Spawning pool is just now completing. And he's just going to start his speed here. Yep, there goes the speed. And you know what? I got a feeling we're going to see some similar stuff out of Tythorr. He's just going to, place that second base here anytime, and then start massing the speedlings. We see Pumblebee doing pretty much the same thing as well. Drop that barracks, and then now he's getting that expansion. No gas just yet. So right off the bat, we can tell that he is not going for a mech opener just because he decided to get that base instead of actually going for the gas and then the base. Or gas factory and then the base, excuse me. And from Tythorr, we do see him having this drone sent out to go ahead and grab that expansion. Any minute now, gonna drop that. And the Overlord getting tickled to death by these Marines here. Are they actually gonna get it? And no, they don't. Survives with 31 health. There goes the second barracks and the first gas. So looking pretty similar to what we saw the last couple games. It didn't quite work out for him either of those games, so I'd like to see him switch it up at least a little bit, try something new. When something doesn't work, especially when you're playing against the same player who knows your style, after a few games, you ought to, at least pull something out of the bag, But we see the second refinery here as well, about halfway done. And the Lings are heading here across the map, gonna deal with these Marines before the bunker's even done. But it just finished in time, and those Marines get in. So, okay. A little bit more successful this time, as we saw the last game, that bunker fell before the Marines could even get inside, but You see that bunker is complete, though these Marines are out of range of the links, so they're just going to sit here and peck away at the orbital command. Not going to fall anytime soon, so it's not really an immediate danger. But yeah, it's going to try to get these speedlings out of there, and he loses those few. And probably gonna drop that expansion. Yep, there we go. And complete the wall off. So it looks like this time he's a little bit more successful. Last time we saw, the wall was not successful at all, and a bunch of lings got in and did quite a number to his natural expansion. And the Roach Warren this time, like as we saw in Game 1, we saw that Roach Warren. Now this time we are not seeing the Baneling Nest that we saw in Game 2. And now these lings are actually going to start working on the ice back here. Man, the thing is, Pumblebee has no idea about this, or does he? Yeah, okay, so apparently he does have vision of that ice there. So we can see that it is slowly losing health there. Maybe he'll catch on here soon and realize what's going on. Maybe he doesn't even know that that's possible, that ice is back there, and so isn't really keeping an eye on it. But if that ice falls, that is bad news for Pumblebee, because those lings can flow right through there and into the natural and start taking care of these. Looks like Pumblebee does realize what's going on there, sending the Marines back. However, that does leave his front door open to these lings that are just kind of hanging out right there. And he's building a second bunker back there. But this bunker at the front is completely empty, so it's going to be useless to him if these lings decide to attack the natural here. Meanwhile, we see more and more reactors go down. But we actually see a second factory on top of that first one, so not a starport, but a factory. I don't know if that's a misclick or if that's intentional. If it is intentional, that means he's making some factory units, and way to go. That's what we've got to work on. Tythorr actually deciding to not put any pressure on his opponent any longer and head back with these Zerglings and take care of the ice behind this natural. Probably going to go ahead and take out the ice at that, I guess you could call that the third base with the ice there, if he decides to make that happen. The thing about that is that it's out of the way, so if your opponent doesn't know about it, it could be a really successful expansion. But if he does, and you don't take care of the ice here like you see Tythorr doing, you've got to go all the way around here in order to get units there and defend it. So I'd say that this base here with the ice on it is quite vulnerable to drops and such. And yep, we're seeing him take care of the ice there and probably drop a third as soon as that dies. Let's see, what is he making? Oh, he's making Hellbats. Hellbats. I think that's awesome, because in the last game we saw lots and lots and lots of Marines and really, a couple tanks but nothing else. And when your opponent is going for Mutalisks and Ling, you need to take care of the Lings so that your Marines can focus on the Mutalisks, and with a line of Hellbats that can really do what he's looking for. However, this time we don't see Tythorr going for Mutalisk, he's going for Roach. And I don't feel that Hellbats are the best decision when you're fighting against Roaches. But I haven't seen too much of Hellbats. It seems like most people either decide to just keep them as Hellions or not even make them. So it'd be interesting to see how they fare against Roaches and probably Hydras here later on in the game. With Blue Flame upgrade, these could be really good against Hydras, but the problem is actually getting your Hellbats in range of the Hydras, because with a line of Roaches, that's next to impossible. And the reactor going down on the starport. Going to pump out some medevacs as soon as possible. And we see, yeah, Pumblebee dropping missile turrets all over the place right now, and definitely does not want any sort of Mutalisk harass. And lucky for him, he's not going to see any. Not because he's got missile turrets, but because his opponent's not even making Mutalisks. So maybe he could be a little bit more comfortable. And it looks like he's going to actually decide to maybe move out, or maybe just secure a third base or something along those lines, sending a few Marines out to see what's going on, maybe get some free Overlords, or Overseers, or Overlords. That skin throws me off. That's alright, these Marines are going to get taken care of by Tythorr pretty easily, not losing any supply there. The thing about Hellbats, though, as we all know, is they can be healed by medevacs, so that's what makes them particularly strong. The fact that, they can take a bunch of damage, they're pretty tanky, and they can be healed. And they can also be repaired if you so choose to send SCVs with them, but It's kind of redundant when you just have medevacs that also heal the Marines. The Marines are missing combat shield, though that's just about finished, and Stimpak's got about 60 seconds left on it. So a push from Pumblebee at this point is not going to be too successful, or too powerful, I should say. He could get lucky, of course. It looks like he's just going to loop around his opponent right there, but he is... Oh, did Tythorr catch that? Doesn't matter if he didn't before, because he does now, because he's losing some overlords there. We'll see how this engagement goes. Stimpak is not done, so I don't know how successful it's going to be. Oh, man. Hellbats on the front line doing some damage. Man, roaches are so tanky. Without Stimpak, these Marines aren't doing as much damage as they could do. All the Hellbats are dead, and the Marines are going to get picked off now. And moving out before one attack, and Stimpak was finished, which is not the best idea. Man. Though he did do quite a number to those roaches, but regardless, he lost everything he had. But he's got some reinforcements back here at home, and he goes for wave number 2. And this time, one attack is done for both the Hellbats and the Marines, and he's also got Stimpak. So a bunch more roaches show up as well, and I feel like, you know, this push might be a little bit more successful, but oh, he just doesn't have the Marine count. And yeah, as more roaches join the fight, this is also going to get cleaned up by Tythorr. You know, I feel at this point when you realize that your opponent's going for roaches, you just you completely stop Hellbat production and either go to tanks or go to Marauders, and just make sure your opponent isn't making too many Mutalisks. You know, you can do that with scans and such. We don't see any mutas, but we do see the Hydra Den and Hydra upgrades on the way. While he did decide to throw some Hellbats in there this time, I felt like that would have been much more successful in the last game. So 2 more factories are finished, and I'm wondering if he's going to make tanks or if he's going to... It looks like he's throwing down a few reactors on those, so either mines or Hellbats or Hellions, but I feel like he's just going to pump more Hellions, or Hellbats, excuse me. And these roaches are looking like they're going to wind around here and start working out the ice. I don't know yet. Looks like Tythorr's being sneaky. And where that scan? Oh, not seeing. Oh, there it is. Okay, so not seeing much of anything. Saw a few roaches heading in that direction, so maybe yeah. Looks like he might be alarmed at that, and
Add-on complete.
be on the lookout for some sneaky stuff happening from a Zerg opponent. It looks like Tythorr was not confident enough to actually push out there. Going to regroup with the rest of his roaches here in the middle of the map. He's definitely got the coverage, though. That's one thing I will compliment Tythorr on, is his Overlord coverage has been quite supreme these past few games. Overlords all over the place, catching pretty much everything that happens. And Pumblebee throwing out a few Marines just to see what's going on. Maybe annoy his opponent with these Overlords. It looks like he's going to try to get a third base, but I don't think it's going to happen here with this big ball of roaches and 1 Hydralisk. I'm thinking he's going to need a cancel there, but yeah, Tythorr does see that that base is going down with this Overlord here. Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and take care of it. And there's cancel. So we did save 300 minerals there. Lost 100, but that's fine. And the 4th base for Tythorr going down as well. So looks like, you know, these past few games we've seen Tythorr is really good at containing his opponent. And it looks like that's a strategy he's going to go with this game. Looks like we did actually see Pumblebee throw a few Marauders into this ball here. And this is a pretty scary push. We've got Marauders, we've got Hellbats, we've got quite a few Marines. But man, that is a lot of roaches. And quite a few Hydras here at the natural. So we'll see how this push goes. Is he going to start clearing some creepers? Is he going to try to wrap around here and look for another base? Ooh, but this is not what he wants to happen. He doesn't want to needlessly lose units like this. And are we going to see an engagement? Oh, these roaches are getting a great concave on these Marines here. But yeah, he definitely needs to engage with everything. Looks like, yeah, when the Hydra showed up, that's just so much DPS, especially with 2 attack. And that ball was just cleaned right up. But I think the biggest problem for Pumblebee there was the fact that his ball was engaging not as a single group, but just as the units at the back of the line just aggroed the certain units, and that just didn't work out in Pumblebee's favor. Engagement could have gone over a little bit better. And he's gonna actually try to get the third base not out in front of his in front of his main, that is, but over here to the right. But I think that is just as vulnerable without a big ball over there to protect it. And if his opponent finds it, he's gonna make quick work with that. But it's actually okay. We made a few Vikings here to be annoying to the Overlords. Looks like that's gonna get taken care of here pretty soon when the Viking moves in range of the Hydras. Cool. There's so many Overlords around there that it doesn't even have to move. It's great. And I'm expecting to see Tythorr push here to the natural here pretty soon. I mean, this is a pretty sizable force. You know, he's got 2 attack. Though 0 armor is a little bit of a concern because his opponent is actually, for once, ahead of the Zerg player on upgrades, at least on his mech units. And we're going to see engagement here. With this amount of Marauders, this might go over decently for Pumblebee, but he just doesn't have the medevacs over. Okay, now they show up and they start doing some healing, but oh man, it just wasn't fast enough. And with those Hydras, and just once again, the DPS from Hydras is so high that it's just, when you can't get to them and you can't take care of them, it's just so powerful. Pumblebee says unstoppable, and I think in this circumstance it is quite unstoppable, but GG from Pumblebee. Was not able to take this game, so game 3 does fall to Tythorr.